Welcome or welcome back to A Game of Fangs and Thrones. My name's Hannah and you're watching my massive July book haul. I think if I've counted right there's about 26 books here. I have separated them into three categories. I've separated them into book boxes because I get 3 book boxes that I pay for with my own money. New books, which admittedly is the biggest pile, and then I have a small new pile for this month, which is the second-hand books. Within the new books I have separated the middle grade books out, just to try and make things easier. So I have no idea how long this video is going to be, so please feel free to pause it here and get yourself a snack or a coffee or get yourself comfy, because I have about 26 books to talk about and I'm excited to read all of them. So let's just dive in. I'm just going to quickly reach over and plug the camera in though. There we go. Now the camera's not going to die on us, hopefully. Right, so I'll start with the box books because they are just here, and as you can tell, some of them are have absolutely gorgeous stenciled edges and one has sprayed edges. Now these are from Crate, Book Box Club and Fairy Loot. I have an unboxing for pretty much all of them in vlogs. I think they're titled but for some reason I got double this month. I think June's boxes were a little bit delayed and they managed to catch themselves up. So we have, I think this one was from a Fairy Loot and I got very excited because it is about dragons. So what if the story we've been told about dragons is wrong? So we follow Dany and Eden Rivera. Their sisters have only one thing in common: they were born to kill dragons. For Dany, dragon slaying takes a back seat. She'd rather be a normal high school girl. For Eden, slaying is her life. But they both agree on one thing: where dragons are concerned, kill or be killed. But Dany actually meets a dragon and forges a rare and magical soul bond with him. So that causes her to question everything that she's been told. Eden... So suddenly the one thing that the sisters can agree on is the one thing tearing them apart. Dany is lost to the wrong side, apparently, so Eden knows she'll have to risk everything to bring her back. But this book is absolutely gorgeous. We have a dragon on the cover and it's a really nice lemon yellow. And because it is Fairy Loot, we have the underdust jacket. And just look at the picture of the dragon on the back. Oh, I hope he has a name. And he just looks stunning. So we'll just pop him up there. Now we have the Book Box Club book, and this was The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. A dark, evocative and unforgettable fantasy debut steeped in Hungarian history and Jewish mythology. Perfect for fans of Naomi Novik and Catherine Arden. So we follow Iviki in a forest-veiled pagan village, and she's the only woman without power. So when soldiers arrive from the Holy Order of Woodsmen to claim a girl for the king's blood sacrifice, Iviki is just handed over, no questions asked. So monsters attack the woodsman and captive en route to the capital, but they slaughter only Iviki and the cold one-eyed captain survive. But this one-eyed captain isn't an ordinary woodsman. He's Gaspar Barani, who is a disgraced prince. And it's his brother who wants to seize the throne and instigate a reign of religious persecution and ethnic cleansing. So that sounds interesting. And the book came with this really pretty woodmark. Okay, so this isn't related to the book, but it just fits. So it can just live in there for now. Then we have Red Wolf by Rachel Vincent. And to be honest, this I thought was going to be For the Wolf or was this book. So it's a nice surprise when you get them wrong. So for as long as 16-year-old Adele can remember, the village of Oakville has been surrounded by the dark wood, a forest filled with terrible monsters, a forest that light cannot penetrate. So in this one, Adele can go into the dark wood. She comes from a long line of guardians, women who secretly take on the form of a wolf in order to protect their village. So her life and the lives of every villager, the design bookplate fell out, I need to put that in. So everyone depends on her, but that depends on the secret being kept. But accepting her fate means giving up the boy she loves, abandoning the future she imagined for herself, and breaking her own moral code. She must decide how far she is willing to go to keep her neighbours safe. And I know Rachel Vincent's name from somewhere, but I just cannot think where. But this sounds like a Red Riding retelling, and I'm always up for that, especially when it has werewolves. Then we have She Who Became the Sun. Of this one is a Lumicrate. I think Red Wolf might have been a Lumicrate as well, but I'm not sure. One of them was a Lumicrate. But oh no, Red Wolf was Book Box Club, and A Wolf and the Woodsman was a Lumicrate. Right, we're back on track. Then we have She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This is a Lumicrate. It has gorgeous ombre stenciled edges. Can she outwit her destiny and rise as high as she can dream? So in a famine-stricken village, Seer shows two children their fates. For the boy, greatness; for the girl, nothing. This is set in 1345, so China is under the Mongol rule. For starving peasants of the Central Plains, greatness is found in stories only. Zhu family is mystified as to how Zhu Shangba, their 8th born son, will achieve his lofty future. For the daughter, no matter how clever or capable, unfortunately, an early death will be no surprise for her. But a bandit attack orphans the two children. It's the boy, Zhu Shangba, who dies. Desperate to survive, his sister steals his identity to enter the monastery. There, disguised as a male novice, Zhu learns she can be ruthless to avoid her fate. But the century is destroyed and Zhu is cast back into the war-torn world. To change her ending, there's only one thing she can do: claim her brother's great destiny as her own. And then the last book was Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lynn, and how gorgeous is this cover? It's just watercolory and beautiful. So, a princess in exile, a shape-shifting dragon, 6 enchanted cranes, and an unspeakable curse. It will take more than magic to find their way home. And it has some pretty add-ons there. So this one follows Shuri, who is a princess of Kyoto. She has forbidden magic, and she loses control of that on the morning of her betrothal ceremony. Seemed like a bit of a look because she didn't want to go through with it. But it catches the attention of her stepmother, and her stepmother is a sorceress anyway. So she banishes Shiori and her two brothers into cranes. Now, I think this is a retelling of the Swans, I want to say, where the brothers get turned into swans, and the girl has to, every time she speaks, she runs the risk of killing one of them, and she has to make a magic jumper or something. I don't know fairy tales that often, but yeah, we have this gorgeous one. Did I show you under the dust jacket? Oh, no, I didn't. So Lumicrate pulled out all the stops on this one. We have a gorgeous little dragon there and some dust jacket art. I think the Red Wolf is plain underneath. It's just a plain white book. So that's the book box books. Hopefully next month I only get, oh no, one of them is a double box, but hopefully I'll only get 3 or 4, not the 5 that I have to find shelf space for here. But that's what happens. so we'll quickly run through the 3 books I bought second hand. I bought Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli, and I will be reading this one this month, hopefully. I want to get into contemporaries, but I don't know if I'll like the genre, so I'm looking for quite well-known ones that I can get for a good price, because then if I don't like it, I don't feel like I've wasted money. Whereas with the fantasy, you can say there's fantasy there, fantasy there, that is fantasy, and that is Cassandra Clare. So I'm trying, and I have heard good things about Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, or the film Love, Simon. Hopefully I don't need to read that to follow with this, but it's contemporary. I think they're all set in the same world anyway, and you can read them in any order. Watch me be wrong about that. Then we have Philippa Gregory, The Wise Woman. Admittedly, this one was just a case of I knew the name, and Philippa Gregory is a bit of an auto-buy author for me, even though she's polarising for me. If I like the book, I absolutely adore it. The Other Boleyn Girl, isn't it, is a perfect example of that, whereas if I don't like the book, I really dislike it. I think the other one I read from her was The Red Queen. So I think I've found that I actually like it better when I'm reading about everyday people in a historical setting. So this one follows Alice, who joins a nunnery to escape poverty, but finds herself thrown back into the outside world when Henry VIII's wreckers destroy her sanctuary. Nothing but her looks, magic, and her own instinctive cunning, Alice has to tread a perilous path between the faith of her childhood and her own female power, as she falls in love with Hugo, who is a feudal lord and another woman's husband. So Alice dips into witchcraft to defeat her rival to win the lover, only to find that magic makes him a poor servant but a dominant master. And heresy against the new church means the stake, witchcraft means the rope. So Alice is a little bit, she's towing the line here if she gets caught. I do like books about women, wise women, I think they'd be called. It runs the risk of, are they actually magic, or do they just have that instinctive knowledge about the modern natural world? Then we have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I don't need to tell you anything about this one, do I? I think everybody knows about this one, even if they haven't seen the movie, but they know of it. So this follows Henrik Vanger, who was an industrialist, tormented by the loss of a child decades earlier and convinced that a member of his family has committed murder. We follow Mikhail Blomkvist, who is a journalist, and he delves deep into the Vanger's past to uncover the truth. Someone else wants the past to be a secret still, and will go to any lengths to keep it that way. And then we have the girl with the dragon tattoo herself, Elizabeth Salander, who is the enigmatic, delinquent, and dangerous security specialist. Genius, computer hacker, she tolerates no restrictions placed upon her. So she is like the original morally grey character, I think. But yeah, so that's that. Now on to the biggest part of this video, and it is my books that I bought new. I have separated the middle grade out from the rest, because for me, young adults and adults, it tends to cross over at times, it blurs the line, whereas a middle grade you can tell by looking at the cover or reading the synopsis. We have some here. We have Parklight by Tim Tilley, which is just a cute little book with French flaps. This follows Wick, who's always lived in a bit of a nasty match factory and orphanage. He works for greedy old Marbugi. All he wants to do is escape until a bird drops something impossible and magical at his feet. tiny baby in an acorn cradle. At midnight, Wick, our main character, is visited by the Hobbs, miniature protectors of the forest, and because they are so grateful for him looking after their stolen child, they offer Wick a chance of a lifetime. He gets to escape, and this has really cute illustrations as well. It looks like a little owl. So it says on the back, nature takes care of us, it's only right we take care of it in return. Timeless story of family, friendship and finding your place. And again, I am hoping to read this one this month. Then we have Romesa by Radia Hafiza. This is basically just a, can I say Muslim retelling? Because I don't think it's Muslim. But like that Middle Eastern retelling of some fairy tales. We have Romesa, who is a take on Rapunzel. We have Cinderella, who is obviously Cinderella retelling. And we have Sleeping Sarah, who is obviously Sleeping Beauty. I just think this would be quite cute. I do know it is 3 individual stories with Romesa as a central character in each one. Then we have A Crowfall by Vashti Hardy, and I can't really tell you much about this one because it was a one where I wanted to try. So the stories insisted there were worlds of adventure beyond. Oren Crowfall has lived his own life on Ironhold, an orderly island committed to industry, but Oren learns a terrible secret. The island is dying and everyone is at risk. Can he and his robot friend Cody evade the authorities and save their home? And I think this might be Cody the giant snake. Then we have just a book I picked up on a whim from the works, because it was like £2, and that is The Whitby Witches by Robin Jarvis. When orphans Ben and Janet arrive in their new seaside home, they soon discover that it is a very extraordinary place, and with mysterious creatures on the shore and a deadly beast prowling the streets, it becomes clear that Aunt Alice and her friends are also not what they seem. Now, I have been to Whitby, and if you didn't know, Whitby is where Dracula landed, so it has a whole vampire gothic feel to it, even in the middle of the day. So it'll be interesting to see if vampires make an appearance in this one. I hope they do, because I do like my vampire books. But if not, at least we have some witches, and like I say, Whitby isn't that far from me. It's about an hour or so in the car. So most of these are fantasy, or have some sort of magical element in them. Are we surprised? No. So I'm just going to grab the last of the books. Now, these are a mix of young adult and adult titles. Like I say, I don't separate these ones out so much because there is a big crossover. So we'll just start from the top and work our way down. So we have The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. This is the sequel to the 5th season, and obviously because it is a sequel, I can't tell you much about it, but in the 5th season, which is here, we follow Essen and 2 other characters. And Essen is a mother. She's looking for her daughter in this world that has been destroyed. We have these seasons that are brutal and are trying to kill everyone. The earth seems to be just rebelling and trying to repair itself by getting rid of the parasites that are the human race. And we have a bit of an ecological nightmare happening. So the magic, and there is a really interesting magic system in this world where the people are, I'm going to compare it to the Earthbenders in Avatar. Obviously this is an adult book, so it's a little bit more gruesome and graphic than the Avatar cartoons ever were, but it's along the same lines. So we have our Earthbender people. I don't think that, have they given a name? I can't remember. So yeah, we have that. I'm not good at describing sequels, so I'm never sure what I continue and what I can't. But then we have this gorgeously floppy book, which is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, and I am hoping to read this month. So a magical island, a dangerous task, a burning secret. So I think everybody knows about this one. It follows Linus, who is a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth. He lives on his own with his cat, and he's just quite happy with that. He's summoned by extremely upper management and given a bit of an unusual assignment. He has to travel to this orphanage on an island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they're likely to bring about the end of days. And I think the Devil's Kid is in here. That's what I've heard, but aside from that, I have heard that this is a book that is middle grade for adults, and it is a hug in a book. And we all need a good hug now and again, don't we? Then, completely other end of the spectrum, we have The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. A young woman living in a rigid puritanical society discovers dark powers within herself in this stunning feminist fantasy debut. We follow Emmanuelle, whose existence is frowned upon. She's POC as well. I think she might be POC in a community that is mainly white, and her mother's union with an outsider of a different race cast her once proud family into disgrace. There we go. She stumbles into these woods, because everything bad happens in the woods. She stumbles into the woods where she meets these spirits, and they give Emmanuelle the journal of her dead mum. What? And you say ma'am. Nothing else sounds right for you. So Emmanuelle finds herself struggling to understand how her mother could have consorted with the witches, but she begins to learn some grim truths about the church and history, and I think she dips into the darkness inside her, the powers inside her that her mother passed on. Then we have another Elizabeth Lim book. We have Spin the Dawn, and to be honest, all I needed to know about this one was that it was a Mulan inspired story with the girl disguising herself as a man to best the boys. Meets Project Runway. Now the Project Runway bit is neither here nor there for me, because I'm not really a fashion fan. I mean, I live in jeans and t-shirts and a hoodie occasionally. Yep, I do like a good Mulan story. Maya is our Mulan character. On the fringes of Great Spice Road, she wants to become a tailor, but obviously she's a girl, so the best she can hope for is a good marriage. A messenger summons her ailing father to court to compete in this competition to become the imperial tailor. So obviously Maya, to save her father and for a chance of greatness, takes his place, but she needs to create 3 magic gowns for the Emperor's bride-to-be, one from the laughter of the sun, one from the tears of the moon, and one from the blood of stars. Oh, and she is accompanied by the mysterious court enchanter who seems to see right through her. Now, I know there is a sequel for this as well, but Elizabeth Lim's covers are gorgeous. Then we have a fantasy book, and they're all fantasy, Hannah, try again. A vampire book. We have Crave by Tracy Wolfe. There is nothing normal about Catmere Academy, nothing that is except Grace. Grace is the lone mortal in an elite school for witches, shapeshifters and vampires. 3 of my favourite things: vampires, witches and shapeshifters. So she's a bit of a curiosity to some students and a friend to others. She's viciously attacked within a couple of days of her arrival, so someone wants to see her dead. Grace doesn't have long to decide who she can trust and who she can love and who she most definitely can't. So I'm wondering if Grace I haven't read this and I haven't really heard much about it other than it is a reboot of Twilight, but better. I'm wondering if Grace has some sort of heritage that she doesn't know anything about, and I think this is just going to be a fun vampire read, because we haven't had many of those. Then we have another sequel. We have We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. Obviously sequel to We Hunt the Flame, and this annoys me. They don't match. But We Hunt the Flame obviously follows Zafira, who is a hunter. She has a Mulan trope again. She's supposed to disguise herself as a man to brave the cursed forest to feed her people. And if she was a woman, her achievements would be just wiped out. And then we follow Nasir, who is the infamous Prince of Death, assassinating those foolish enough to defy his autocratic father. So from what I remember of We Hunt the Flame, if I can get it back, yep. So what I remember from We Hunt the Flame is that Savira and Nasir end up teaming up together to try and bring magic back. Obviously there's probably more to it than that, but I can't remember. So we'll read this eventually, and I am in love with this cover. It's so shiny and it just hits the, oh look at that, when it hits the light. Anywho, then we have This Poison Heart by Kaelan Bayron. Excuse me. Kaelan Bayron wrote Cinderella is Dead, which I absolutely adored. So with this one, it's a contemporary fantasy, so it is set in the modern world with a little bit of magic. So we follow Breesus, who is a bit of a, she has a green thumb to the point where it's magic, put it that way. She can grow an apple tree from seed in a heartbeat and flowers bloom at her touch. She inherits an old house, so she finally can experiment with these powers. Bree magics the house's rambling grounds back to life, but she's also inherited generations of secrets in the hidden garden overgrown with the most deadly poisonous plants on earth. A dark legacy lies waiting for her, and Bree's long departed ancestors won't let her rest until she finds it. So that has a definite spooky thing to it. I haven't read many ghost stories in a while. Then we have Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castel. I just got this one because I know it's Jade from JD Reread's favourite, and I saw it, so I picked it up. Kellen is moments away from facing his first major duel and the start of 4 trials that will make him a spellcaster. One problem, his magic is gone. So on his 16th birthday, Kellen falls back on his cunning until a daring stranger challenges him to take a different path, and it is fairly floppy as well. We are nearly there. I've got like one mini stack. We have Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. A god will return when the earth and sky converge under the black sun. Holy City of Tova, winter solstice is a time for celebration and renewal, but this year it coincides with a solar eclipse, a rare celestial event prescribed by the Sun Priest as an unbalancing of the worlds. Crafted with unforgettable characters, Rebecca Roanhorse's epic adventure exploring the decadence of power amidst the weight of history and the struggle of individuals swimming against the confines of society and their broken pasts is the most original series debut of the decade. And all I know about this is that we follow a siren type character who can calm the waters around her, and she is being tasked with carrying one passenger, a blind scarred young man, to the city of Tova in time for the solstice, I think. To be honest, I've just been hearing so many great things about this, and the cover is very intriguing. That's a woman's face, but on the camera it looks like some sort of bird. and I believe Rebecca Roanhorse is, I apologise if I offend, but she's native, she's First Nations or native to America. I'm not sure of the terminology, so it is interesting to read from other cultures, and I believe Black Sun is inspired by Mayans, because they had the Doomsday Calendar. Then we have Uprooted by Naomi Novik, and again I think everybody has heard of this book. Agnieszka loves her village. Nearby enchanted forest casts a shadow over her home. Many have been lost to the wood and none return unchanged. Villagers depend on an ageless wizard, the dragon, to protect them from the forest's dark magic. But he doesn't do this for free. Every 10 years a young village woman has to go serve him. I think she does get something out of it, but she has to leave everything for 10. She has to leave everything to serve this old man. Agnieszka, I'm not sure I'm saying that right, fears that Kasia will be picked because she's beautiful, graceful, brave, everything Agnes is not. But when the dragon comes, it's obviously not Kasia that gets taken, it's Agnieszka. Couldn't someone please tell me if I'm saying that right? Then we have Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. This deals with, I think this has ace or asexual representation in it as well, but Cami is a soul walker like her mother. They can journey into other people's souls while they sleep, and Cami likes the visiting element of it. She sees, and everywhere she goes she sees this black door, but her mother has always told her, don't open the black door. And then when tragedy strikes, I think something happens to her mother. Kamai, K-A-M-A-I, so Kamei, she obviously opens the door. And I have her other book, In the Ravenous Dark, I think I hold it last month, but this is the one that I am very intrigued about. It just looks so intriguing, and to be honest, romance I can take or leave in books, so it's nice to see that a book isn't going to focus on that, hopefully. Then we have Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning by J. Christoph and Amy Kaufman. So Aurora Burning is the sequel to Aurora Rising. The year is 2380 and the graduating cadets of Aurora Academy are being assigned their first missions. Star pupil Tyler Jones is ready to recruit the squad of his dreams, but his own bone-headed heroism sees him stuck with the dregs nobody else in the academy would touch. So I believe he's only late because he's saving he's found a ship that was thought to be lost, and Aurora is on it, and she has been trapped in cryosleep for about 200 years. But she could be the catalyst that starts a war millions of years in the making, and Tyler's squad of losers, discipline cases and misfits might just be the last hope for the entire galaxy. And then obviously this is the sequel. I'm not going to read it out or look at the back because I don't want spoilers, but look at the pretty covers, and these are very bright sprayed edges. Then the last book we have got there, honestly, is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I have been interested in this one for a while as well. The dream chooses the dreamer. Since he was about 5, Laszlo Strange has been obsessed with the lost city of Weep, and he ends up going to find it. What happened in Weep to cut it off from the world? What did the Godslayer slay that went by the name of a god? And what is the mysterious problem he now seeks help in solving? So I believe something happened to the city of Weep a long time ago. It wasn't called Weep, but now everybody knows it by Weep. And there is a blue-skinned goddess who visits Laszlo in his dreams. I think she's called Sarai. But yeah, I'm going to have fun trying to put these on these shelves, so it's going to be fun. If there's any of these books that I've held that you've also read, let me know what you think. If you're interested in any of these, if there's any books you think that you've picked up recently that you think I'll enjoy, let me know in the comments. Give this video a like if you've liked it, and subscribe if you want to see this, talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!